Hey, this is Kyle, host for Anderson Speaks, and it's my pleasure to share with you now a recent interview I did with the Senior Branch Manager of the Anderson Township Library, Mrs. Katie Greifenkamp, who is the Senior Branch Manager at the Anderson Township Library. Been there for about 5 years?
5 years at Anderson.
That was not your first rodeo, though.
It was not. I have worked for the library for about 25 years now. I had a variety of roles, several of them in management at different branches around the county. But I'm really thrilled to be here in Anderson because it's such a great community.
Awesome. Now, when I was growing up, it was always a big deal when we went downtown. Did you ever work down there?
I did not work downtown. I'm there a lot for various things, training events and different initiatives that I'm helping the library with. But I don't work down there every day, but I like to go.
I don't want to disappoint anybody, but did you ever get to hold the tiny books?
The tiny books or the rare books.
Oh, really, yeah.
Yeah,
I always thought that was
yeah.
really cool. I don't know why. It's like, I can't read it, but it's cool.
The coolest thing is actually this Audubon book, a James Audubon book, and it's huge, and it's in the rare books room, and every day they turn a page of the book, and it's got those wonderful prints,
Really?
Audubon prints. It's pretty neat.
There's something like, just if I can just take a moment, like finding an old book. It's like I'm literally holding a piece of history.
And you probably
it's
are.
Awesome.
And think how many hands that has passed through.
Yeah.
So it's pretty
Hopefully
neat.
all clean, but
Right.
no, I love that stuff. I love, and to me, like I was telling her before the show, I was like, you know, if I get a little misty-eyed, you know, I have wonderful memories of growing up at the library. I grew up out on the other side of Amelia, so the Amelia branch, the Clermont County Library, was a place I'd love to go. I can specifically remember walking through from the age of 6 to even when I was in college, walking through, and the moment I discovered a certain book, which turned me on to a certain author. Like I remember the cover for The Gray King by Susan Cooper from the Darkest Rising series.
Right.
And that turned me on to the rest of the series. And that was like, I think it was right after I'd read The Chronicles of Narnia. And then a couple years later, I was in the, it just, I'm getting goosebumps remembering
And
it.
then
but
you can ask your librarian, I love this book. What can you
Yes.
recommend? And we do
Yes.
that for people. We kind of help guide the reader to the next book that they're,
In
their
fact, it
genre.
was, who was it? I forget who I was looking at, but someone asked me if I needed help, and I just said, I love this author. Is there any more like that? And I was turned on to Tad Williams.
Sure,
which,
yes.
which then kind of moved me into even more like the some of the Forgotten Realms, Dragonlance. I loved fantasy books like R.A. Salvatore and all that stuff.
Still a really popular genre.
Because it's awesome.
It is awesome.
I'm just, you know, I didn't get lucky. It's awesome.
Right.
So I'm excited to talk about the library, just libraries in general, but specifically the Anderson Township Library. I want to know in this new digital world. I mean, card catalogs, do they even still exist? Like that's just like the least of not worries, but like what is it like for the library in this digital revolution? Because I know there are people who still want to hold the book.
There are people that still want to hold the book, and we still have books. They're still an important part of what we do. To your question about the card catalog, we haven't had card catalogs in well over 20 years. Now, we still have a catalog.
They're all showing up on Pinterest.
Right, yeah, they're collectible.
People are using it in different ways.
Yeah, they're collectible now for your home decor. No, we still have a catalog because that's how you access books. And they're still arranged on the shelves by the Dewey Decimal System, and that's a couple of 100 years old, and it works. But the catalog is on our website, so you can find things. Instead of going to the drawers, you just go online, you look up by title, author, subject, tells you right where it is. And it gives you real-time information. Is the book in? Is it checked out?
Yeah.
Can I place a hold on it? How many copies does the library have? So that's really been a big boon, but we've been utilizing that for quite a long time now.
It's so awesome to be able to go, and if you can search for someone on Facebook or do a Google search, anything, you could go to the library and find something by an author, by title, and I love
subject.
I love when you're looking for something and it says, well, it's not here, but it's at this branch, and we can help you get it. When before it's like, do you know if you have this? And if someone's available, they can call, and then maybe they do, maybe they don't, but.
Right, and you can do that from home. I mean, we have people who use our website in the middle of the night and they're looking things up and they're placing holds, and then we have, we move a lot of materials in Hamilton County, so if we don't have it, we get it from one of our neighboring branches and we put it on our hold shelf for you to come pick up later. So.
I feel like the digital revolution has just made the library that much bigger.
It really has, it really has. And we're now doing a lot of digital ebooks and audiobooks, and magazines, and we stream movies and TV shows. So just as the library purchases, just as we still continue to buy physical books and physical magazines and physical DVDs, we're apportioning part of our budget to purchase digital content that you can access from the library for free if you have a Hamilton County Library card and PIN. You simply...
And you don't owe any late fees.
Right.
Jenny.
Right.
My wife.
Well, as long as your fees are under $10, you're good to go.
Jenny. My I just called her out.
Well, maybe I'll be seeing Jenny pretty soon. Pay her late fees. Yeah. So, I mean, it's really been great for people to be able to check out this digital material. And so we buy a license to have access to the ebook. So the library's paying the cost of that, but then the user gets to check it out and download it for free. They can keep it for 1, 2, or 3 weeks, depending on their preferences. And again, all you need is your library card number and PIN. The first time you go to do it, there's a little bit of a setup process. You oftentimes will have to put an app on your device, whatever, Nook, Kindle, iPad, different tablets. So you put the app on your device and do a little bit of a setup, but then you're just kind of ready to check out and download or stream if it's a movie or a video program. One of the best things about this is there are no late fees, Jenny. So
Jenny, my wife.
Things are automatically returned. So at the end of the loan period that you've already set up, the material just gets snatched back and it's ready for the next user.
That's what I was going to ask. So
you
have a finite number of copies.
Correct.
And they could, and they're just kind of just retrieved or taken back or.
That's right.
Dissolve.
They dissolve, right?
And fly away.
Exactly.
Wow.
So it's just been a really great thing, and that's one way that people can use the library 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they're finding that they don't even have to necessarily step foot in one of our buildings to use the library. They can just check out our digital content, and increasingly this is starting to make up a goodly portion of our circulation. I think for 2014, about 11% of all of Hamilton County's circulation was accounted for by digital content.
Now, how are various generations dealing with a lot of these changes? Because I could see, do you ever someone come in and complain about these young whippersnappers changing everything on them?
A little bit, but you know what is surprising to me? Sometimes it's the 70 and the 80-year-olds who are really down with it. I helped an 80-year-old woman put the app on her iPad, and she was checking out and downloading. She came back in another week, showed me how to do magazines. So some of these older folks are really into it. They just love it. Sometimes I think it's the really busy 40, 50-year-olds that are just like, okay, I don't have time for that.
My retired grandmother reads a lot of novels on her Kindle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And sometimes she needs help on her computer, like where'd my mouse go? But
right.
then she's got all these books and she's flipping through, and I read my third one today, and it's surprising.
And
it's
you can check out library books for free on your Kindle, so you don't always have to buy them from Amazon. You can come to the library. We'll show you how to do it. We do a lot of technology appointments where people actually bring their device in. We sit down with them. We kind of get them set up. We show them the process, and then they're off and running.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. I mean, do you see that being a continual thing, or as more of this kind of just enters the collective zeitgeist, people they just know what to do? I think
a little of both. I think the software is always changing and upgrading and improving, and really it's just getting easier, if anything. But there's still plenty of people who are they don't want any part of it. We still have books, and that's really important to have that as well. But we sort of have a foot in both worlds, the digital world and the more traditional world.
And I get, there still is something about the book. I mean, I have devoured, I read through the Divergent trilogy.
Oh, right.
I've read all of the, John Carter, I just discovered them, and I read through all those, all on my 8-inch Samsung tablet.
Right.
But the Hunger Games was all book and other things. So there's the convenience, there's this and that, but sometimes you just like that feeling that closing and opening and turning the page. It's really fun.
Right. And you can just open the book. You don't have to turn anything on and download anything.
Right.
It's right there. But then the print is awfully small. As you get older, that small print gets a little bit harder.
Yeah, when you're on the thing, you just go like that.
Blow it up, and it's illuminated. So yeah.
Do you do a lot of reading on tablets, or are you still?
I do about 50-50. The library we have a monthly book club. We call it the Third Monday Book Club, and collectively we've chosen a book, and everybody in the group reads it.
It happens on the third Monday of every month?
The third Monday of every month at 7 o'clock. Everybody's welcome.
It's all that
Yeah.
library book learning.
That's right. Coming back for you. So sometimes I'll read the book for the library's book club on my iPad. Sometimes I read a hard copy. If I'm really pressed for time, I listen to it in my car. Sometimes I supplement because we also have books on CD where people can just plug it right into their car, and on their commute they're listening to a novel.
And we highly encourage people to listen, not
That's
read
right.
while they're driving.
That's right. That's definitely the preferred method.
That might be like illegal, the one, but. So I made a comment to make you feel like the library is bigger, and we're talking about how it's growing in the digital area. But in general, how is the library expanding?
Well, right now we have 3 construction projects going on. We have our Clifton branch, our Reading branch, and our St. Bernard branches, which are all undergoing construction projects. Now, these are branches that are not as nice as Anderson. They're in small, leased kind of storefront facilities. And the library's had some donated land for almost a couple of decades with the idea that there would be library branches built in these communities of Reading and St. Bernard. And they've been planning for this and saving for this for a long, long time. So this is kind of a big, exciting event that the library's been working towards. And the Reading branch and the St. Bernard branch are going to have ample parking. They're going to have expanded collections, much nicer facilities, handicap accessibility. They're also going to have maker spaces, which will be really nice for those communities.
What's a maker space?
So a makerspace is a place where people can get together to create and learn and invent and do. Most often they're in libraries. I've even heard of, there's one I think at the Field Museum in Chicago, but it's basically a place where people can come and use new and emerging technologies. So in our makerspace at the main library, we have a 3D printer.
Oh, cool.
We have a vinyl cutter and printer. We have a laser printer with an engraver. There's a sound booth where people can edit. There's
Really?
a video and photography options. There's even a converter station where people can convert their VHS tapes to DVD. And the idea is people come in and do this themselves. So it's a place where people can utilize this new technology, have access to it for free, and just learn how to use it. So this supports students, it supports people in business, and just people who want to learn how to do things for themselves. So it's just a really, it's kind of an innovative idea. And just like the desktop printer 20 years ago or so sort of revolutionized things for people to be able to print and share information themselves, this is kind of the next step of that. So makerspaces are really an important thing, and you'll probably be hearing a lot about that.
I love these things. To me, it's like the I don't want to say genealogy. It's like the next generation of Gutenberg. It's like the freedom of that opened up.
Yes.
I think, and then you got like the big thing like the internet, and then you've got the
Right.
printer and the 3D printing.
It's the
That's all
natural
very
evolution
exciting.
of information sharing.
Can I clarify something? When you said
Yes, yes.
vinyl cutter, I had 2 things pop into my head. Are people cutting vinyl on a plotter, or are they making records?
The first, like if you wanted to make a banner and you took, you maybe had several photos of your children and you went down and you made a banner, or maybe you're opening your own business and you want to put a banner up in front of your store, you could take some photos, go down there, use the software, upload your photos, make a banner, edit it how you want it, and then print it out.
That's very cool.
It is pretty cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
It's like a glorified cricket. No, I love that. That's stuff that I help folks with, and I love that people are able to go and do something like
and
that.
do that,
And I also
right.
do audio and video, and so I love that they have a place that people can go. In fact, if they have an audio booth, maybe I'll have some work I might need to get done.
If you wanted to record a commercial or do something like that, the main library right now.
Well, I gotta get my album out.
Okay. It's going to drop soon, isn't
Yes,
it?
I'm going to drop my album.
Yeah.
Trying to make my big break. I'm just working on the beats right now. So I love the idea of the makerspace. How extensive is that going to be? Are all areas going to have something like that?
Well, right now, our main library makerspace is up and running, so that's going. Our Reading branch and our St. Bernard branch are going to be having makerspaces. And ideally, it's a technology that, or an idea that we'll be able to implement at all of our locations on a limited basis at some point in the future. But our librarians are on board with it. In fact, we're starting to do a lot of programming for especially teenagers because they really like this kind of thing. So we call them maker programs where people can come in and actually use some of this technology. For instance, at Anderson, we have a 3-doodler, which is like a little, think of a hot glue gun.
Is it the pen?
Kind of a pen, yes.
Oh, I love that thing.
Extrudes plastic.
And literally, you can draw in 3D.
In 3D, right.
So
and of course,
cool.
you're not making, this piece of art, but you're learning how to use this technology. You're getting exposed to it. You're seeing the possibilities of what's out there. And of course, we know how STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math is a really important concept that we're trying to push nationally. We need more of these types of people in our country. So we're trying to support that with our STEM programming and our maker spaces.
That sort of stuff in the 3D printers just fascinate me. I want to get one. I'm just so excited about that.
Right.
And I hardly know what I'm doing with some of it, but you've got all these free programs like SketchUp, Blender. It's amazing what's out there that's free.
Right.
That you can download right now and start fiddling with.
Right.
And come up with designs and things that you could take to the library or take someplace and just create. You can create this
things.
thing.
That's
I
that's
think
what it's about.
awesome.
It's creating. I heard a story of a fella who, when I went to a conference in Chicago a couple years ago, and he had a small business and he sold his. He made chessboards, and so he would make the chessboards out of wood, and then he would go to, I think it was the museum in Chicago that had a 3D printer, and he would design and print his chess pieces.
That's awesome.
So then he was making a complete chess set, and he was selling them on eBay, and that was his business.
I love it. I love it because, again, it's like that whole Gutenberg thing is putting more of the power in people's hands and independence and freedom.
That's
'Cause
right.
I don't have to go get hired by Hasbro to create a toy.
create.
In fact, I can make a toy that looks like me or looks like my friend. I
Right,
just think that
right.
just blows my mind.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
It's pretty neat.
It's crazy.
Pretty neat.
Specifically with the Anderson branch, what are some of the technological things that you guys like to brag about?
Well, right now, we do have 23 computers that are free to the public to come in and use, and we have people that come in every day to upload or create resumes or upload an existing one and edit it, send it off to a potential employer.
So that's the thing, no one can ever say, well, I couldn't do it because I don't have internet.
Right.
Well, everyone you know has internet on their phone. You can go to a library.
Right.
It's all over the place.
It's all over the place, right.
You can go to a hotel lobby and
That's
get
right.
on the internet.
Right, right. We have a scanner so people can come and scan photos and documents. The computers get used all the time for work, for school, or just to pursue personal interests or connect with friends and family. That's certainly, they're used for that
I'm
as
sure
well.
someone's gotten on Facebook on there before.
Maybe once or twice, yeah. Yeah. We have a color printer. And then in our meeting room, we have this great new large screen. I think it's about a 60-inch screen. And so people can actually book our meeting room. So if you wanted to host a meeting and you needed a place to have your meeting, you could book our meeting room and use it for free.
Awesome.
And this large screen TV allows people to connect to it. So we have a panel in the wall. You could come in and connect your laptop or another device. You could project a PowerPoint presentation or show a video or a film. So people in the community can use that, and we also use it too for family movie nights and other programs that we have.
Awesome.
It's pretty nice.
Now, what are some exciting things coming up at the Anderson Township branch here in the future?
Well, right now we're starting to gear up for our summer learning program, and I think a lot of people who come to the library will, especially if you have kids, you'll be familiar with this. This is our annual program that we have every summer, and basically it's a challenge where we invite people to read and track their progress, and it's people of all ages. So you read and you track your progress. You come back to the library, you show us, how much time you spent reading, and then we give you prizes and incentives. And so the idea is to kind of, especially for kids, it's to keep them engaged with learning and, and keep reading all summer
Like the
long
old
so they don't
book it
lose that.
stuff.
Kind
I
of.
used to tear that up.
Yeah.
Still, I was like, I can't do a pull-up in gym class,
Right.
but I can max out my book it list
Right.
off the bat.
Yeah.
Loved it.
So we give some really fun prizes too. I think we have some grand prize drawings. In the past, we've had Cincinnati Reds tickets, really
you
nice
kidding me?
gift cards to Kroger. We've given away Kindles. And the really nice thing is that we are able to do this without spending taxpayer dollars on some of these prizes and incentives, because we have the Anderson Township Library Association. And this is an all-volunteer, kind of like a friends group that we have. So the Anderson Township Library Association puts on that terrific book sale that happens at Nagel Middle School. Happens every
yeah,
June.
yeah.
So the next sale coming up is June 26th through the 28th at Nagel. And the money that they raise, and they make thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, they turn around and they give that back to the library so we can pay for these
Kinda
summer
like
reading
library
prizes.
boosters.
Kind of, exactly. It's the same kind of concept. They also help us pay for some of the fun events that we have, like we have yoga at the library 2 times a month. So they help us pay for the yoga instructor. Or when we have Zach Morgan come and perform, he's just a well-known and well-loved local musician for kids. We have all kinds of things, magic shows, puppet shows, different things that we have to pay a small fee to a presenter, but we can do this with Atlas support without having to spend the taxpayer dollars.
Everyone likes to hear that.
Right. It's a win-win. It's a good partnership.
So you have 25 plus years experience with the library. So that obviously you don't mind working there.
I love it.
What is
love it.
if you have to, I know this is hard. Someone says, "What's your favorite movie?" I'm like, "What genre?" I can't just pick one. But what are some of your favorite things? What are some of the main reasons why you love it and you're still doing it?
I like working for the library because I like working with people of all ages, older folks, younger folks, children. And there's so many different ways for library staff to connect with people and to help people. And sometimes people think, oh, libraries are these quiet places where nothing happens and the librarians just want to shush people. No, our doors are wide open and we welcome everybody. And we love it when we're busy and we have lots of folks in the doors. Last year we had over almost 250,000 people through our doors.
Wow.
And every morning when we open, there's about 15 or so people waiting just to get in to use our resources.
Wow.
So it's really about connecting with people and helping people connect to information. So that's why I do what I do and why I love it so much.
Awesome. Now when people think of the Anderson Township Library, what do you want to pop into their heads?
Well, I really want people to think about libraries as a place to access information, and libraries as a place for lifelong learning. So some of these things we've talked about, the yoga, learning how to use a vinyl cutter or a 3D printer, that is all information. Now, once upon a time, information was primarily conveyed through books. And we still have books, and we honor books for being at the forefront of information sharing. But we really think that libraries are about sharing information and giving people free and equal access to information in whatever format or whatever medium that information is conveyed in. So again, books were the beginning, but the world has changed.
And before that, it was the people who remembered everything and were the good
Or
storytellers.
then they chiseled it on tablets. Yeah, exactly, the oral tradition. So we're just evolving with the rest of the world, and
Like
it's really about access to information. So that's what I want people to think of. The library is a place for lifelong learning.
I like that.
Yeah.
As a lifelong learner, I appreciate that. This has been Katie Greifenkamp, Senior Branch Manager for the Anderson Township Library. Thank you so much for coming on. I really enjoyed
Thanks,
it.
Kyle. It's my pleasure.
I don't know if you can tell, I get excited about some of this stuff,
Yeah.
but that's why I like doing this. So we appreciate you guys for joining us out there in Anderson Township land and beyond. And we look forward to seeing you guys next time on Anderson Speaks. Until then, be safe and God bless.